Let's open up with what we've been opening up with the last, month and a half, which is WWE, the road to WrestleMania. And we had a promo with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes on Smackdown that I don't know if there was hype. I really wasn't hyped for it. I didn't know what to expect. I did think at some point there would be interference, and there was, I guess, because the Bloodline did show up, and then Jey Uso and Seth Rollins showed up to defend Cody. There was no physical altercation. The Rock was not there. But for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, you had Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes in the same ring, and they were going back and forth. And the promo was not very good, as I mentioned in the quick open. It was not a good promo.
No, they've been hitting home runs for so many weeks. It was just lackluster, this one. It just didn't have it. Maybe because The Rock wasn't there.
I mean, that's probably it. But I don't want to say that because Roman and Cody have had great moments without The Rock.
That's a good point.
Previously. So I don't want to look, The Rock deserves credit for his involvement and the depth of his involvement, certainly. But I don't want to give him all the credit for this storyline Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes have been providing us now for Cody Roman over a year, Roman for 3 years, maybe 4. So I don't want to give The Rock that much credit. I just thought it was flat.
Yeah.
The whole promo was flat. Roman calling Cody a politician. That was really maybe the one part that jumped out to me. Cody saying he had the Bullet Club cufflinks.
Yeah.
I thought that would get more of a pop from the crowd.
No one reacted.
It didn't, I don't think. Well, he didn't say Bullet Club. He said Bullet cufflinks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he messed up. I don't know if he's unable to say that. I think he probably should be able to say that because you do see the OC using the 2 sweets, and that's in reference to what they used to do with Bullet Club in Japan with AJ Styles, right? And then later, Cody was part of that. And so, but there really was nothing there. I was expecting them to give us something that we hadn't heard yet, give us a new twist, because that's what we've been getting. We've been getting all these moments that we've been pulling the clips on this YouTube channel, in which The Rock's giving us hints. Cody's giving us hints. Roman's giving us hints. But they didn't really give us anything in this promo. And I don't know. It was flat. And I thought it was not very good. But I will say that doesn't mean Roman didn't have a good day on Friday, because earlier in the day, he was on the Pat McAfee Show. And he did give us something that he didn't give us later that night on SmackDown. And what he gave us was another example of how Roman Reigns and The Rock, there's something there. They're on a collision course, these two, The Rock and Roman Reigns. And, they're kind of ducking and dodging each other while also staring each other right in the eye, going, "You're up to no good." Right? Like, that's how this is playing out. And so Roman Reigns went on the Pat McAfee Show. And this is a clip from the McAfee Show that we're going to show you. And he talks about Cody wanting to come back to the WWE and then references Hollywood. Right? And how he didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to him. But I'll let you listen to yourself. Here is Roman Reigns on Pat McAfee talking about how Hollywood had to come to Roman Reigns.
Same thing with Cody.
I was trying to be an ooze.
Cody was off doing who cares, a whole lot of nothing. He saw what we were doing in WWE and he wanted to be a part of that. Hollywood, Dwayne saw what we were doing. I'm the only guy that didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to me.
There you go. I'm the only guy that didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to me. What does that tell you? That tells me, he mentioned Dwayne's name, right? He mentioned it. So that's a clear shot at The Rock. The Rock came to me. I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of the table. I'm the main event in the WWE. I'm the WWE champion. The Rock came back. He compares The Rock's return subtly to Cody's return to the WWE, saying Cody returned to the WWE because he saw what I was doing. He saw how popular we were. He saw the tribal chief Roman Reigns, and he wanted to be a part of it, right? He wanted to be a part of everything I was doing. That's how good I am. Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. And he goes from that right into, I didn't have to go to Hollywood. Dwayne, Hollywood came to me. And he's comparing, essentially, The Rock coming back to the WWE to Cody coming back to the WWE. He wanted to be a part of what Roman was doing. This is Roman's show. This is Roman's world. We're just living in it. Cody came back to live in it. The Rock came back to just live in it. We told you on the last show, The Rock pointed out this, his make sure you watch the clip on this YouTube channel if you didn't already. The Rock pointed out that he has a different grandfather than Roman Reigns. And The Rock pointed out that The Rock's grandfather is the High Chief. We showed you the picture of the bloodline family tree. And it says High Chief underneath The Rock's name. So The Rock has done some things to say to Roman Reigns, hey, yeah, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief, but I'm the High Chief. Or my grandfather was the High Chief. Essentially makes him the High Chief. And now you got Roman Reigns going on Pat McAfee going, The Rock came back to get involved in my world. This is my show. I didn't have to go to Hollywood. I didn't have to go to The Rock. The Rock, Hollywood Rock, which is the character.
Hollywood Dwayne.
Hollywood Dwayne, which is the character The Rock's playing right now. The Rock, Hollywood, came to me. I'm the man. I'm the head of the table. I'm still the top dog in this company, in the family of the bloodline.
And that's hard to argue with.
Well, I mean, The Rock, put it this way, The Rock is essentially arguing it, just not face to face.
Yeah.
And he does it. He did it last week because you could say that Roman Reigns pointing this out on the Pat McAfee Show is in response to The Rock last week calling himself not once, but twice the final boss. So The Rock gets out last week and he gets in the ring. And what was interesting about this, when he put on the Rock concert, right? He got in and he sang a song and it was old school Hollywood rock. But before he started the song, he did cut a babyface promo, which was, I'm back in Memphis. This is where I got my wrestling career started. Finally, The Rock has come back home. And like people are yelling at him, I love you. He's like, I love you too. He gave a babyface promo to begin. And that's very strange for a guy that had his entrance changed, had his music changed. The Rock, they introduced him right before this with new music. They slowed his music down. It's an evil final boss theme song. And at the end of this song that he plays after the babyface promo, he calls himself the final boss. Not once, but twice. I think it's important to note that he says this a second time and goes out of his way to say, we're going to do that again. Because he wants to send that message across. He wants to pound that message home. Here's The Rock. And we're going to show a picture of this. And we're going to play the audio because, we have not been able to upload the WWE videos. So if you're wondering, like, why are you just showing a picture? Well, that's why. We don't want to get, the copyright infringement on YouTube. We're trying to play by the rules, So here's The Rock at the Rock concert pointing out that he's the final boss, not once, but twice.
There's some lines you just don't cross. You all can kiss the ass of the final boss.
Stop it right there, because we have to, we don't want to run it too long and have the copyright strike. That's why we interrupt these videos. But The Rock said it once, you all can kiss the ass of the final boss. And he even said this on social media, that he was the final boss. The WWE is referring to him as the final boss. But here he is, The Rock points it out and lets it be known he's the final boss by saying, let's do that again.
We're going to do that one more time. There's some lines you just don't cross. You all can kiss the ass of the final boss. We love you, Memphis.
All right. He said it twice. There's a reason why he's doing that. There's a reason why WWE's calling him the final boss. I mean, what is the final boss? What is he referring to? He's referring to, I mean, that's a video game line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Super Mario is...
Yeah, it's Bowser.
Bowser. Ninja Turtles, it's Shredder, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is a... give me... I mean, I wish I could come up with another one for you, I'm sure, but you get the comparison, right? You get the analogy. He's the final boss. Now, I'm sure Roman Reigns is sitting there going, what do you mean? I'm the champ defending the title at WrestleMania. It's obvious that I'm the final boss. Well, what is The Rock the final boss of? Right? What is he the final boss of? And I think that brings us into kind of what we mentioned a little bit on the last show, which was The Rock is doing something right now that, you know, because we're asking questions like, why is he saying this? Why is he saying that? We get it. The Rock, Roman Reigns, they're on a collision course. We just showed you 2 clips that prove how that is happening. And you know, I think it's probably easy to overlook this stuff if you're just like thinking that they're together and they're going to help, that they're going to work together with the bloodline to screw Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. We've been pointing things out to you nonstop in the show for the last 3 weeks that that's actually not the case, that Roman and The Rock are on a collision course. But, well, what's The Rock's motivation, right? Like, I think you have to try to dig into that. And that's what every time I watch The Rock, I watch it multiple times. I'm like, what did he say there? What did he mean with that? He's doing something. He's very strategic with this one thing that's happening every time he has been in the ring since the moment that didn't seem to make sense to anyone, where The Rock and Cody shook hands and Cody left the ring saying, you know, this is The Rock's moment. There's been a lot of things that compared to that moment don't make much sense.
Yeah, that's the least obvious of all the little bits they've given us. That's what it feels like.
So I've been trying to read into everything The Rock's been doing. And the one thing that he is making it clear strategically that he's doing is he is hitting Cody in all the right spots on purpose. He's hitting Cody in all the right spots. And what he did during this Rock concert, and we're not going to play it all for you. You have to go back and watch it. It's on the WWE's YouTube. It's the full segment from last week. You know, he's in the ring by himself, sitting down, like you just heard, singing a song. But even after that, he pulls out the belt, and it's like the weight belt that Cody wears. And it's a custom Rock, you know, Brahma Bull belt. And what did it say in the middle? Hustle.
Yeah.
Did it say hustle, loyalty, respect?
It couldn't have. It couldn't have said that. But it did say, it had some message like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a Cena message, but it had some message. I want to say it said hustle or something. Maybe that's something we missed. Point it out in the comments if you see it, what that belt said. But The Rock, he pulls out the belt. He's talking about Cody's mother, right?
Mama Rhodes.
Mama Rhodes. And, you know, all the things that he's been saying to Cody. And then you go back to 2 weeks ago, where Cody slapped The Rock. And we showed you the slap heard around the world. The Rock almost had a smile on his face after. What did we say? He almost looked proud.
Almost fatherly in a weird way.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what is he doing? I mean, it's very clear to me. The Rock's being strategic. He gets slapped by Cody. He looks proud. He even said before he got slapped, he said, Dusty Rhodes. You know, that man is one of my heroes. I think that's what he called him, right? He called him one of his heroes. That's how much respect he had for him. So you got to think, if he has that much respect for Dusty Rhodes, Dusty's one of his heroes. And then he gets slapped by Cody Rhodes. Yeah, he said something to him. He called him a mistake, right? Yeah. And he even referenced that in the song. He said, Cody, you're a mistake because of the age difference between you and all your siblings. But he's doing these things on purpose. He's hitting Cody in all the right spots. And when Cody slapped him, The Rock looked proud. He had that look on his face, that smirk. He looked at him, and Roman came to come after Cody, and The Rock held him back. He goes, no, it's okay. It's okay. And he was looking at Cody. And he gets in the ring a week later, and he's going after his mother, and he pulls out the weight belt. He's just hitting Cody in all the right spots. It's strategic. He is trying to push all his buttons. He is trying to, and I think this is pretty obvious, but it's clear to me, and I think it's clear to you too, Paul, that The Rock's motivation with all this is to honor Dusty Rhodes by strategically preparing Cody Rhodes for Roman Reigns. And so when The Rock calls himself the final boss, we ask, well, what is he the final boss of? If Roman then is saying, well, he's the guy, I didn't go to Hollywood, Hollywood came to me, I'm the final boss. The Rock is saying, I'm not the final boss of the WWE. I'm the final boss for Cody. He gets to me, then he can get to Roman. If I continue to fire him up and get him prepared and get him angry enough and get him ready for this moment against Roman Reigns, then he can do this and finish the story for the guy that is my hero, Dusty Rhodes. That's what is happening right now. The Rock is preparing Cody for this moment, and he's calling himself the final boss. And I guess that leads me into what I think now, because I'm pretty confident in what I know is going to happen at WrestleMania on night one, definitely on night one, maybe on night two. On night one of WrestleMania, they're going to have the tag team match, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. And given all the things we've told you about how I feel this thing's playing out, how The Rock is trying to purposely motivate Cody Rhodes, how The Rock is also throwing shots at Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns is firing those shots back. I think this tag team match, given the stipulation that if The Rock and Roman Reigns win, it will be bloodline rules on night two, Cody versus Roman Reigns, meaning anyone in the bloodline can be involved, and it can be complete chaos. At first, I thought that's the route they were going to go, because I was like, there's no way they're not going to have The Rock involved in night two. And the only way they can have The Rock involved in night two is if it is bloodline rules and The Rock is like special guest referee or special guest enforcer or comes in and does something crazy with, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. So so at first I was like, well, Cody and Seth need to lose. They're going to lose the tag team match night one so that it can be bloodline rules night two, because that's the only way you can get The Rock involved in night two. But then I'm watching this play out and I'm going, okay, The Rock is clearly trying to hit Cody in all the right spots to try and motivate him. And The Rock's doing this for Dusty secretly, the guy he calls his hero. And he's pissing off Roman Reigns in the process. Subtly, right? Here's what I think is going to happen. I've changed my mind. I think Cody and Seth are going to win the tag team match, because that side of the stipulation is if Cody and Seth win the tag team match night one, then the bloodline has to be banned from the ring entirely. And nobody can show up.
Or no one from the bloodline.
No one from the bloodline can show up.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Is The Rock in the bloodline?
He is. But hear me out. That's the stipulation. Cody and Seth are going to win the tag team match night one of WrestleMania, which I think will shock a lot of people. At first, it would have shocked me. But now the more I've been seeing this play out, because you see what happened on Smackdown. Because if there's one thing I got out of this promo, this lackluster, brutal promo between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns last night, it's that Roman is not a man of his word. He said the bloodline wasn't going to be there on SmackDown last night for this brutal promo between the two. And then they came out after he snapped his fingers at the end. So what's going to happen at WrestleMania is that Cody and Seth are going to win the tag team match night one. And that's going to, a lot of people are going to be like, surprised also because they think Seth is going to turn his back on Cody. And I don't think that's going to happen. At one point, I might have thought that too, but I don't think so. Cody and Seth are going to win the tag team match. Bloodline's going to be banned from the ring in night 2. And then they're going to show up. And that's going to piss one person off. The Rock. Because The Rock, as someone who considers himself the final boss, someone who considers himself the high chief, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, as he pointed out, he's going to come down and he's going to stop Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso from interfering in that match. And he's going to do it by saying, no. These are the stipulations. We have to respect those stipulations because we are respecting our family and the name of our family. That's important. What is Roman's new sweatshirt? It's like something about family. Is it? I don't know. Put it in the comments if you see it. But family above all, I think maybe?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
All right. They're about family. That's all they're about. The Rock's the high chief. In his mind, he's above Roman Reigns. In Roman Reigns' mind, he's above The Rock as the tribal chief, and he saw The Rock acknowledge the tribal chief. Cody and Seth are winning night 1. The Bloodline will be banned from the ring in night 2. But they're going to come down and try to get involved, one way or another. And The Rock will take that as if now you're making the family look bad.
I like
and
that.
The Rock will come down and will prevent them from interfering. And you know who that's going to piss off?
Roman Reigns.
The tribal chief. Roman Reigns. And there's that collision course. What are you doing? You're taking Cody's side? And so The Rock doesn't officially ever really have to come out and say that he's purposely motivating Cody Rhodes and he's doing it for Dusty Rhodes as well. Because the whole story is about Dusty. Right? That's what it is. I mean, finishing the story is about finishing the story that his dad could never finish.
Yeah.
And by The Rock coming out and telling Cody, your dad was my hero, he's doing things and saying things to piss off Cody Rhodes intentionally to motivate him and push him because The Rock essentially is doing that for Dusty as well. To get Cody ready to win this battle. Now, I don't know that The Rock is going to purposely throw this tag team match. I don't know how that match is going to end. What I'm telling you is I've changed my mind as to how I think the tag team match is going to end. I now think Cody and Seth are going to win. Bloodline's going to be banned until they think they're going to try to get involved night 2, and The Rock's going to come down and stop that because it's about respect at that point and respecting the family name, and they are, by breaking rules that they've agreed to, they're disrespecting the family name, and that's going to piss Roman off, and there's your clash. Now, does Seth get involved in that? Because I don't know where Seth comes in that. And that kind of brings me to another part of this that we're going to get to. But I do want your take, Paul, on that theory that I have on night 1 and night 2.
I like it, and I'm more apt to believe what you're saying about night 1 now too. But the only thing I think might be slightly different. What side of the family are the Usos on? I kind of forget. Are they on the Rock side of the family, or are they on?
Ooh, that's a good question. Put it in the comments if you know.
Because why I say that though is because is there an option where The Rock's exactly like you said? He says we're not going out there. We lost the tag match for the family, but now does The Rock come out with Uso and Seth Rollins? Because the stipulation is the bloodline can't interfere. The bloodline's not allowed there. That doesn't say anything about Seth Rollins and Uso.
I don't know.
It's just like a little bit more on.
I don't.
Because as soon as you said like the night 1 swerve, because I just assumed I want the chaos, but if they've been this whole story has been so crafted so well that I think they're gonna that's the perfect swerve. You obviously assume The Rock's gonna interfere and be involved night 2, but what if that's removed? That's the best move. Then out of that you can do a lot. That's the best move. They have to do that.
You say that's removed, so we don't see The Rock at all night 2?
No, I'm not. I'm saying from the perception from the inside. If they lose, you do not see The Rock. The swerve is that we all assume that The Rock's going to be heavily involved, and he still is going to be heavily involved. But I think it's on that back end that doesn't have to be on the bloodline side. But it's very similar to your theory.
I think that I don't want to say the safe play, but I think the way I just laid it out Because, again, I think they have you thinking, obviously The Rock isn't going to be... obviously The Rock is going to be involved in the main event night 2.
Yeah.
And you think, how can that happen? What needs to happen for that to happen? What's the one thing that needs to happen? Cody and Seth lose the tag match, and then you got people thinking that Seth's going to turn on Cody, and they've even implied that a little bit, because they had Michael Cole and Cody doing that one-on-one,
Yeah.
and Michael Cole's like, how can you trust Seth Rollins? And even in the brutal promo with Roman and Cody last night on SmackDown, Roman's like, how can you trust Seth Rollins? He turned his back on me. So they're bringing that up for a reason. They want. I think that's where the swerve is going to come. A lot of people think Seth's going to turn his back on Cody, and a lot of people think because of that, obviously The Rock needs to be involved in night 2. So how can that happen? Him and Roman need to win night 1, and it needs to be bloodline rules. I think the major swerve is Seth doesn't turn his back on Cody.
Yeah.
And The Rock and Roman lose the tag team match. There is no bloodline night 2. And you go into that match going, it's gonna be settled one-on-one. I can see it now.
Yeah.
They already have the promos ready to go. Like, this is Cody's night. He doesn't have to deal with the bloodline anymore. Then you're gonna see Solo Sikoa in a hood, hop the grate. You might even see Jimmy Uso hop the grate. And then what happens? Rock's music hits. Right? Look, they changed his music last week. I don't think that was a one-off.
No. And they're not just like workshopping things. No, I don't think so either.
No.
But how do we get back to The Rock, Seth Rollins, though, in that scenario?
So that's what's I'm going to bring us there, is that The Rock's new music is not a one-off. Like, I think we're going to see a one-on-one match with The Rock, maybe even before Roman Reigns. Obviously, The Rock and Roman are going to fight.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Rock-Roman Reigns match.
And it's probably
going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably next WrestleMania.
Why would you spend it any other way?
No, The Rock's not getting any younger. Do it now. Now, in next WrestleMania. But they've done a couple things with Seth Rollins and The Rock the last couple weeks that make me wonder, and I mentioned it on the last show. And The Rock said this again during his little rock concert last week. But 2 weeks ago, when they had the face-off, The Rock and Roman Reigns, with Seth Rollins and Cody slapped The Rock. Before Cody slapped The Rock, and The Rock was cutting a promo on Seth and Cody, The Rock said that one thing to Seth about Seth's World Championship, which was, I'm going to get rid of that title. And we talked about it on the last show. What did he mean by that?
It was like an awkward moment of the conversation.
Like, it didn't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah. It's almost like he just had to download that information. Like, he just had to get that information.
And he said it, but that's said on purpose. Like, everything that The Rock does is well calculated. He doesn't just throw that in and isn't just like shooting from the hip in that moment. And he says that. Because they'd be in the back going, what the fuck's he talking about? Get rid of that title.
And we've been
working hard to get that title, make that prestigious. And what did we say about that title?
It's attached to the Vince McMahon. So.
It is the Vince McMahon title. Yeah. If there ever was a Vince McMahon title, that's it. Because the whole gold plate in the front is the McMahon family crest. You can watch an episode of The Bump on WWE Network. We played it on this show. I think that show got demonetized on us because we played the whole clip. But they go into detail breaking it down. Go watch it on WWE's YouTube. They talk. I don't even know if that's still up. But we're doing this thing now. We're erasing Vince McMahon. We're erasing anything that was related to him. And that title is the whole gold plate is the McMahon family crest. And if we're erasing Vince McMahon, are we erasing that title? Because let's be honest, Paul, that title has not really worked.
No, it's been a lame duck title. Yeah. It really has.
And I was thinking that Drew McIntyre was going to win it at WrestleMania, but then I start to see like CM Punk involved, and maybe Punk could screw him, and there's that feud moving forward. And then I keep seeing The Rock bring that title up, but he's not just bringing that title up. He's bringing it up saying he's getting rid of it. He's not saying I'm going to win it. Yeah. He's saying we're getting rid of it. And the first time he said it right after he told both Cody and Seth that he was on the board of TKO and he's calling the shots.
The Rock will do everything in his power to make sure that you don't win and to make sure that title goes away.
There is The Rock pointing that out. Now, if it's once, fine. Maybe I'm wrong, what we talked about 2 weeks ago. But he has the Rock concert last week, and he does it again, Paul. He mentions that title again and doesn't say I'm going to win it. He mentions I'm going to get rid of it. Here's The Rock during the Rock concert last week.
You're so damn desperate to make them all cheer, but The Rock is gonna take that title, disappear.
All right, and he's gonna make that. Now he said he kind of messed up there. He said he's gonna take that title, disappear. He meant to say I'm gonna make that title disappear. That's the second time he brought that up. Now there's a reason they're doing that. It kind of has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah,
and they're still doing it. And I told you 2 weeks ago, when Seth Rollins got in The Rock's face and Seth was cutting that promo, I was sitting there going, oh shit, this is actually the one, this is stealing the show.
It's the most excited I've been about Seth Rollins in a while, too. I want to see this. I want this.
Because Seth is great. I just think they put him in a situation where
I don't think it's his
like,
fault. I don't think it's his fault.
It's not his fault. I think he's great. I think the character can get a little goofy.
Yeah.
I think they did a good thing giving him that song, and everybody sings a song. That's always a hit in the WWE and in professional wrestling. You give someone a catchy song where people can sing along, they get into it. I mean, you want the crowd into it, whether they're booing or cheering, singing, or telling you to fuck off. You want them to be in it. If the crowd isn't in it, which is mostly like AEW crowd when they don't like something and they pout and they just don't get involved, that's when shit doesn't work. So they've done some good things with him in a tough spot that he's in, but he's just in a really tough spot with that title.
Yeah.
And we talk about the Vince McMahon stuff and potentially erasing him. If you're going to erase the Vince McMahon legacy, then the title that has his family crest all over it, you would think, has to go too. Especially since it's a title that really hasn't worked out for anybody. But when Seth and The Rock got in each other's face 2 weeks ago when Seth was cutting that promo, right? What do you say, having missed a midlife crisis? I'm looking at that going, this is the match I want to see. The Rock's got new music. He keeps saying he's getting rid of this title. He's the head of TKO. For the second straight week, he mentions that title and how he's going to get rid of it. I'm telling you right now, Paul, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're getting rid of that title.
Yeah.
When he says that.
It's obvious.
But they're going to obviously get creative with it. So it feels like we're going to see The Rock, Seth Rollins, one-on-one. And the only way I can kind of put it together where that would end up happening is if on night 2 of WrestleMania, it goes down like I told you I think it will, which is Cody, Seth win night 1, no bloodline night 2, but when the bloodline does get involved, The Rock comes in and tells them, stop, you're disrespecting the family's name, we lost, that's it, you can't get involved. Roman gets mad at The Rock. Then maybe Seth gets involved, tells The Rock to stay out of this. Right? I mean, that's the only way I could see them getting back involved with each other. Because how else does it go down? I don't know.
Well, if The Rock comes out and then Seth flips then. If The Rock stops it, brings Seth and the Uso out, then Seth flips.
Seth could come out to try to stop The Rock, thinking that The Rock was going to screw Cody.
Oh, that's even better.
Where The Rock is actually preventing the bloodline from interfering, because what's fair is fair. They lost the night before. Respect the family name. Don't get involved. Seth comes out. Rock, I don't trust you. I don't trust what's going on. Then you said something to me when we came in here today, before we went on the air. And people have been in the comments about this too. potentially Cody doesn't win.
Yeah. It feels like it. It's kind of the best end of the story.
Like, because they kind of did this with Brock Lesnar for a little bit, where he kept winning and retaining the title. Remember that stretch?
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 2015 or like 2018, right? Didn't Brock just keep winning?
Yeah.
Not even like just like other smaller pay-per-views. Like he kept winning, retaining the title. Every time you thought he was definitely losing it. And there was one specific time I wish I remembered where he won. Was it a Roman WrestleMania maybe? Or a Roman pay-per-view? Before Roman was the tribal chief. Where Brock won, I don't know. There was one time Brock retained and everybody was shocked.
I remember there was one Cena one when he just destroyed Cena with suplex after suplex.
That might have been it.
And it was like a 10-second match or something.
I don't remember that,
Yeah.
but I remember one time specifically because I did a podcast the day after. And I was like, people were pissed because Brock won because everyone was expecting him to lose. It was kind of like the storyline played out. It was kind of the obvious thing for him to lose. And he won. And I'm like, this is great because it was actually like the element of surprise that I thought WWE was losing.
Yeah.
Because there was a stretch where they were no longer giving you that element of surprise. And it was a surprise that he retained. But he kept winning and it was pissing people off. And I'm just wondering, with all these storylines playing out, like we just laid out for you a pretty like descriptive, somewhat complicated storyline to the average viewer. But if you've been paying attention the way me and you have been paying attention, that should make sense where like Bloodline's not involved. They can't be because they lost the tag team match night one. The Rock comes out to prevent the Bloodline from interfering when like Solo Sikoa shows up when he's not supposed to.
Yep.
And the Rock's actually saying, no, guys, we can't do this. I'm actually going to be respectful to Cody here and play by the rules and respect the family name. Seth could come out and go, that's bullshit. I don't trust you. And this doesn't have to be spoken by word of mouth. It could be implied with body language or maybe off mic comments with them yelling at each other. And then there's just like a scrum outside the ring. And with all of that shit going on, like, because I'm thinking, if you have all that shit going on, are you going to have Cody win the title? Because it's kind of if you want Cody to win this thing, you don't want him to win with like, Roman's distracted. Oh, he gets him in a small package, pulls the tights. Like, no.
He has to win.
He's got to win. Cody Cutter, then his finishing move 3 times
above
in a
all
row.
above all odds too.
Like he's got to do it. Maybe he does it like 5 times in a row. Like you want it clean. You want that shit clean. And if all this stuff is going to happen, like we're saying, unless that stuff carries out,
it goes away. Yeah.
Like into the back.
Exactly.
And then it's just them two. Then you know that's the moment. Well, I mean, look, we say it now. Then you know that's the moment Cody's going to win. Perhaps the best thing they could do ultimately is give you that moment where it's obvious Cody's going to win. And then just have like Superman punch, spear. It's over. And I'm going to be sitting there if that happens going,
that so bad.
What? Like I would be so shocked that might almost be the best outcome.
It is. It's the most. That's the most entertaining outcome. That's the most entertaining outcome by far.
Dude, isn't it just awesome what they're doing to us right now?
Then put them in polka dots on Raw.
Isn't it just unbelievable what they're doing to us right now? The WWE has hijacked our show. They've hijacked our show.
It's WrestleMania season.
Dude, it's
though.
all I
I'm
think
sorry, it is. It's WrestleMania season. It is. It's the number one sport.
It don't matter. It's all I think about. They just keep giving you stuff.
It's so well crafted too. Like this is, you could argue that it's been rough for a period of time, but it's been good for probably 2 years now, and they're capitalizing on that 2 years right now.
Yeah, but again, back to the whole Seth Rollins thing. Like I think that's the only way they could get a Seth Rock feud.
Yeah,
they're gonna get one.
They If you didn't want it before, is when you saw them matching off face to face, you want it now.
Rock has new music. That's not a one-off. That's not like he's going to use it night one of WrestleMania.
Yeah, he's not using it.
And then he uses it next year at WrestleMania. Like, they're saying, The Rock's filming a movie, I think from like May to August.
Okay.
First of all, who the fuck is getting The Rock's schedule like that? Where they're leaking it out. You know, I find it funny, some of these wrestling bloggers and insiders and these Twitter accounts that post this stuff, right? Like, they have the inside information. Like, there was a report from one of these wrestling websites that was like, people in the back are pissed at The Rock because they're saying that he gets to be above PG. He gets to say things that are above PG. He gets to be like Attitude Era Rock and say some questionable stuff, and they're not going to let us do it. Like, The Rock's getting special treatment, and everybody's pissed off about it. One, The Rock probably is getting special treatment.
Yeah.
But two, I
Why
think
do you
for
think-
one of these wrestling websites or wrestling reporters online to like break this news, like, you're getting work, dude. This is what I find hilarious about some of these wrestling insiders is like they're told this stuff and they're reporting it on Twitter. Like, you're getting, whoever's giving you this is fucking telling you this on purpose.
Yeah.
You're getting worked.
Yeah,
And like, they can't see it.
It's the equivalent of Mac Jones. He didn't want surgery. He's going to tough it out.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of that.
Right? That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Like, sources are telling us that, Mac Jones, the injury's so bad that anybody in his situation would have had surgery, but he's toughing it out.
He's actually the toughest guy ever.
Thinking that that's coming from, like, the Patriots, right? The Patriots are leaking truthful
course.
injury information to you because that's what they always do. No, that's coming from Mac Jones' agent at the time because they're pissed that the Patriots are like, you can't put some fucking ice on the ankle? You can't play with a sprained ankle?
And this is
You fucking kidding me?
This is the exact same thing. Just leaking enough information that you want out there. That's all this is.
Yeah, so like this stuff that's coming to these wrestling reporters, it's actually not like WWE front office executives being like, there's a problem backstage. Like, no, this is somebody giving you information to try to work your ass. Like, who's the guy? Who's the guy that everyone talks about on Twitter?
I'm not sure.
What's the guy's fucking name? Meltzer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dave Meltzer?
Yeah.
I see some of the stuff he puts out there. I'm like, dude, you don't think you're getting worked?
He's part of the machine at this point.
Is he part of
though.
the machine?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe he's.
I don't think he's.
Maybe he's getting paid to make it sound like.
Yeah. Because when some
Guys, you should believe maybe he's in on the work.
Well, because don't you think like a lot of people our age who grew up in the Attitude Era that maybe don't watch wrestling real close, that leaks into their news feed and they go, "Oh, Rock's back. He's doing Attitude Era stuff." That brings people
Is
like me
everything
right
a
back.
work?
Yes, the whole world is.
Is the Montreal Screwjob like the best work in the history of works?
It might be.
Again, we go back to the CM Punk stuff, and I know I told you I was wrong, thinking that like that was a big fight, all that stuff. But I even still to this day wonder, was the contract up?
Yeah.
Was the contract really what it was reported to be? Did they know for like he was going to WWE and they just kind of like respected the business and like, do they all just have so much respect for the business that they're such good workers? Like that they're willing to like,
It's possible.
never be truthful in order to respect the fucking business?
I respect that if that's
I
true.
respect the fucking business that I would be doing the same thing. What do we need to do to make this seem like it's real life drama? Well, we can't do that. That's going a little above and beyond, don't you think? Well, yeah. That's the fucking point. Everything's a work. Right?
It feels like
Even the reports.
Yeah.
But there are some wrestling people that tweeted out being like, there's problems backstage, WWE. They're pissed that The Rock gets to go say whatever he wants. It's like, nah, dude, you're getting worked. But, yeah, they have... WWE has stolen our brains. They've hijacked this show. But I guess it's helped because this YouTube channel has grown tremendously with our numbers. So make sure you keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button. Hit the dislike button if you want. I don't give a shit. I think any button that you hit keeps us in the algorithm. I think that's the way it works. We're in the YouTube wrestling algorithm. I don't think we're in the... I just don't think... Like, I'm noticing some things now, and you're noticing it too, Paul, that the YouTube algorithm is funny. Like, I don't think there is an NFL algorithm on YouTube. Like, I don't think people on YouTube give a shit about the NFL.
No, I don't think so either.
Like, we're about to go into the Shohei Ohtani stuff. Is there an algorithm? Like, is that in the YouTube algorithm? Are there people on YouTube that are, like, looking for reactions to the Shohei Ohtani gambling situation? Like, I don't know.
Gambling maybe adds a little bit more to it. But
maybe. But I also thought our clip of the wrestling odds for WrestleMania, in which Cody Rhodes was like minus 650, which is a dead giveaway that he is going to win. I thought that would get a lot more views than it did. We put that out, last week, a week and a half ago, and it didn't. And so sometimes, like, the algorithm, like, throws us a curveball. But, I mean, it is very clear, regardless of the actual topic within wrestling, it's clear wrestling as a whole.
It's the biggest it's been in a long, long time.
YouTube is the home of WWE, even AEW stuff. And we're going to get into all of it next week with a special guest in studio. We should touch upon... Can I call her Sasha Banks? Like, is that disrespectful, you think, to her? I know it's Mercedes Mone.
I feel like she would still be Sasha Banks if she had the rights, the name rights. I don't think she would have changed her name.
Do you like the name?
Sasha Banks? I got used to it.
No. Like, isn't her real name is Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where she's going with that. Mone. I thought it was Monet.
I thought it was.
But I guess it's Mone.
Yeah.
She's the CEO. So you got the money signs in there.
A similar character.
You know, they had the creative music.
I like her.
Though they're saying, and it does sound like it was a somewhat recreation of Gunther's old theme when he was Walter.
Yeah.
Go listen to it. It is like, sounds exactly the same. I forget about that, though. That doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with repurposing music that someone else decides not to use if it's good enough. Like, what the fuck? Like, use it. Yeah. Especially if it's like a song that the WWE doesn't own. If you think it fits your character, use it. The problem I have with it, I don't think it fits her character. The song. Yeah. Like, her song before was like the hip hop, like the Sasha Banks theme. Like, you couldn't come up with something similar to that. I just don't think that fits. I'll always know her for being Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Right? And so I hope it's not disrespectful if I throw that out there. Like, I like her. I think she's great.
I think she's great too.
I wish she was in WWE.
Yeah, I wish that worked out in a different way.
And maybe it ends up I think
she'll be back.
Yeah, they all come back. Yeah. They'll all be back. But I thought her debut, which was at the TD Garden in Boston, I was not there. You weren't there, right? You weren't there. I did watch it on TV. I thought it was a great moment until they could have made it even greater and kept me hooked and decided, we'd rather not. We'd rather not have Danny hooked on this. We'd rather not have the WWE hooked on this storyline. And it seems to be the one thing that AEW, and I don't know why they do it.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
We talked
did it
about
with Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson.
CM Punk.
Yep.
Never faced Kenny Omega, right?
Nope. I don't think so, no.
They did it with Edge.
Yeah.
Dude, they're still doing Edge Christian. How long has Edge been in AEW for? How long has he been in AEW for? It's been almost a year?
Almost a year.
Past a year? I don't think he's had any other feud. Like, I don't care about that. Like, Edge should have shown up and immediately challenged. Like, they needed to give us something that we wanted to see in WWE that's possible in AEW. And they didn't do it. Nobody wanted to see Christian Edge in WWE again because we already saw it many times. CM Punk, did they put him against Kenny Omega? Not from what I saw. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see it. It should have been like the first thing they fucking did. Mercedes Mone gets in there, formerly known as Sasha Banks. I tuned in specifically for that. And at the end, she gets interrupted by... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Did she even get interrupted? She didn't get interrupted. She walked out. That was it. Right? And then later on in the night, she came out at the end and she got in a scuffle with people I don't even know. I don't even know who they were. And I was like, this ain't right. But forget about that at the end. At the beginning, somebody's music needed to hit. Somebody needed to come out. And not just somebody. Like somebody that everybody in the wrestling world knows. And I just thought it would have been a perfect opportunity. And this is like mixing in. This would be mixing in all your top shit. To have Adam Cole come out and interrupt Mercedes Mone. And it's like, whoa. Like, come on. Adam Cole's music hit. And don't even, you could do the Undisputed Kingdom thing at that point. Because what did they do afterwards? They had Wardlow come out right after and fight Samoa Joe. And I'm like, dude, that would have been perfect.
That almost feels like that was kind of the plan. And then,
you could have had Adam Cole interrupt Mercedes Mone, and then you could have had Britt Baker. Like, that's what I'm tuning in for the following week.
Yeah.
Britt Baker, Mercedes Mone. I'm in.
It's a missed opportunity.
Because people want to think Britt Baker's good enough, go to WWE. What are the dream matches, right? That's what you do. They didn't do it. And I'm sitting there going, why? Now, maybe there's something else going on with I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it just seemed to be like...
It's just a missed opportunity because it's her debut. More eyes are going to be on that than anything else.
You needed to... All right, she debuted. It was great. I watched. But I'm sitting there going...
Now what?
My daughter's, now what? Now what are you going to do? And it was a dud. And then she was on the next week, opened the show. She gave the same promo. And then they have the interruption with the same people. And I'm like, I am not understanding what we're not getting about this situation. They're doing a lot of really good things. The Young Bucks, they could have had the Young Bucks interrupt her. Think of the heat they would have got then. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. I'm not going to tune in to watch Mercedes Mone next week. Because I don't even know what they're doing with the storyline. I don't know who she's going up against. And I know you could say, well, you're just a bandwagon wrestling fan then, Danny.
Well, there's only so much time in the day, too. That's one of the things. They have to entice you to watch sometimes.
It's their job to keep a fan like me involved.
Exactly.
You got me in with her return, with her debut, I should say, in AEW. You got me in. It's your job to keep someone like me who's not there every week with you. Instead of being mad at me about that, do something to keep me along for the ride. You did the complete opposite. That's bad business, brother. That is bad fucking business. And I don't know the reason for it.
Yeah.
And you have Undisputed Kingdom. You have guys in that group that you would like to pump up even more. And that I thought would have been a moment to combine it all.
Yeah.
And it's like they might have thought of it and here's what they do. They go, we'll save it. I think they do this thing we'll save it. We'll wait. That's not.
You missed your moment.
Sorry.
Though. Yep.
WWE can do that. And you know why they can do it? Because they're about to hit their 40th fucking WrestleMania. That's why.
Yeah.
You've been in business. What have they, AEW in business? 4 years? 5 years?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Keep me along for the ride. You lost me. You already lost me with that storyline. And it sucks because I like Mercedes Mone. Sasha Banks. That's who she is to me. And, but you had to give me that.
Yeah.
That go-to feud out of the fucking gate. Hit me with that out of the gate. Because you get the Britt Baker situation. Or even you get Paige in there. Yeah, we want to see the WWE stuff in your ring. That's the whole kayfabe. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? That's the beauty of this whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Instead, you gave me a feud. And I know I guess I know what they're doing. They do this thing in the business where the veterans will put new talent on the map. It's no, I think WWE can do that. John Cena can do that at WrestleMania. You don't have John Cena. She is not John Cena, and you are not. Revolution is not WrestleMania.
And Cena didn't do that his first half of his career. She's still in her prime, too. You paid for her prime. You didn't pay for her to put other people over.
Yeah, I hate even like going on this rant because I do like her, you know, and I do hope she has she's from the area too, right? She started
it's not
around
her
here.
fault. This isn't her fault.
No, I'm not saying it's her fault.
No, I know you're not.
I wonder what she
their
thinks
fault.
about that booking. I think she would probably say, like, she's, you know what? Actually, I mean, I know what I would say. You know what I would say? How much am I getting paid? I don't give a fuck. Put me against whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
10 million? Is that what it was?
I think it was something like that, yeah.
Dude, you give me $10 million,
Yeah.
you will never fucking see me again.
I'll put over whoever you want. Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. You want me to cut a promo tonight?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you already guaranteed me $10 million.
Yeah.
No, I say that somewhat in jest, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think she's probably not collecting, like any normal human is probably not getting that huge payday and like getting upset with management out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because she's probably still happy about the contract.
Yeah. Give it time, though.
It's a sweet contract. But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure there is a little part of her that thinks maybe they could have. I'm sure she doesn't want to hear someone like me saying I'm not hooked and connected to the storyline anymore because of what they did in her first two appearances. She probably doesn't want to hear that. But I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just being honest with you. That's what I do in the show. I just give you my honest opinion. That's my honest opinion. They lost me on that storyline. I was going to be tuning in to see what she was doing week in and week out. You lost me already. 2 weeks in. So, I mean...
Off your new shiny toy that you just got.
Yeah.
From WWE, yeah.
So, look, I don't... I think she even said, like, one day I'll be back. I think there was, like, a quote that got out there. Like, she said it to someone, and it, like, spread like wildfire.
I mean, obvious, though, too. It's just obvious.
Of course. Yeah. One day you'll be back. You think... I don't know if Daniel Bryan's going to be back. Excuse me, Bryan Danielson. I'm sorry, guys. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just fucking names plugged into my brain. Right? Bryan Danielson?
Yep.
I don't know that he'll be back.
If anyone stays away, it's him.
And really I don't know that it's because he's...
I just think he's done everything, and he's kind of happy with what he's doing.
Well, you see what he's like. He loves doing the stuff that...
He loves putting people over.
He loves putting people over, and he loves like the stuff that me and you shit on. Like when he's sitting in the ring, and slapping someone, and they're slapping each other back and forth, and that's like his dream to do it. And I'm sitting there going like,
we've seen it,
changing the channel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
but
he's a purist. He's a purist. He really is.
Yeah, of course. But like
more than. Not that there's plenty of other guys that are hardcore, but he's a purist. He's a pure wrestler.
It sucks though because in the WWE he was great. I love
those moments.
I mean, there's movements.
Yeah,
the yes movement, right? And I don't know. I guess Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will be back.
Who knows where AEW is?
What's up with this Hall of Fame? Is it just it's Paul Heyman, the headliner?
That's all I know about so far, yeah.
I mean, there's only so many guys you can put in.
It stinks, though. Are they going to just ignore the Lesnar part? I'm curious of that.
Well, I did see something that Lesnar is back on the roster, on the website as a free agent.
Okay, I think I saw that.
They had taken him off.
Yeah.
And then they put him back on.
Yeah,
According to some of the trolls on Twitter. I don't even know if they took him off. I'm just believing people that
they
got
definitely
so
hit him in the
worked
game.
up.
They hit him in the game. I know that.
Yeah, you can't play as him in the game, which is the dumbest fucking thing.
Silly.
It's a video game
for a $120 game
for an alleged situation.
Yeah.
Though we did see text messages.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know, like, I don't think, like, how can you put Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame and avoid Brock Lesnar?
You
can't.
I can't figure it out.
I think you either...
I wanted Brock to indict him. Like,
Induct. We're caught up in the legal terminology right now. Thinking of the Vince McMahon stuff. But with Brock Lesnar, Dude, I think he is going to induct him in.
I think that's the move. Just do it. Do it. That's the move.
Well, I wonder if Brock fires back with you can't fucking fire me. This isn't proven.
Yeah.
I think legally Brock could put up a fight because the lawsuit isn't necessarily about him. With Vince, there's just so much stuff. And he sold the company. Like, that's different. Brock has a contract.
Yeah.
And if there's any type of breach of that contract for something that hasn't been proven, Brock can put it, and I think that maybe is what's happening behind the scenes. Like, you motherfuckers can't do this to me.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to court. Let's see this.
Because even how...
Hey, and you know who doesn't want to go to court?
Yeah. The
WWE.
The new clean WWE.
TKO.
Yeah. TKO just had a nice payout to all the UFC fighters in a class action lawsuit, too.
Did they?
Yeah. They're cleaning up all past business.
Yeah, well, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm sure that Brock Lesnar, who previously must have had a great relationship with everybody because he was UFC, he was WWE.
Yep.
He's a top guy for the longest time. I think that he probably said, you guys don't want to fucking do this.
No, and because I think there's a strong...
So you can prove that. Fine, let's prove it.
Because I think there's a strong argument that he didn't do anything wrong and Vince still did something wrong, even in that whole situation involving Brock.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
Brock can play it off like, oh, that my
he
text
sent it to me.
He sent it to me. My texts are like jokes with him.
Yeah.
Here's some older texts where I joke with him, but I want no part of it. But he's my boss, so I'm just joking with him.
And he's Vince McMahon. He's like, I have to play ball with Vince McMahon. Guy scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. I think, and we said it, the Vince McMahon show that we did. Even with Vince, we said it. We said, hey, if you're going to burn it down, let's make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
And the only way we can get it right is, let's hear what the other sides have to say.
Yeah, and take a breath. Just take a breath with this. Don't be completely reactionary. Let's get it right. Like
because while the text messages certainly show that Vince McMahon is a sick fuck.
Yeah, on a different level.
The text messages also show that so is she. Right? I mean,
yeah.
The text messages show she was accepting to it
for quite a while.
Right?
Yeah. It seems like there may have been a period where that changed, but for quite a while she was.
Yeah, and there's one photo of her going around, Janelle Grant, and it's like, what is it? Like the high school yearbook photo of her smiling and looking. It's like, that's the one photo we're getting?
I actually haven't seen her yet, so that's actually...
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, I'm like, it's like...
That's funny.
That's it? There's only one photo?
They do that.
Where are the other photos of this girl's life?
Yeah.
Like, and then they were part of that. We talked about the lawsuit and broke it down, and there's things that happen in that lawsuit that I question, where I'm like, okay, why did that happen?
Yeah.
And like, it's easy to overlook that when you just want to throw Vince McMahon in jail because you don't like him.
Yeah.
Because you don't like that.
There's a lot
he's
of
a
reasons.
Trump supporter.
That's one of them.
Because you don't like that, look, the guy has allegedly done a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
And so that starts to spiral, the domino effect. And the more and more people get frustrated with him from afar outside the company. And then they hear one more allegation, and you see text messages of the fucking the wildness.
Yeah.
And it's like, they want to burn the whole thing down. What we said was, if he's guilty of this stuff, throw him in jail and throw away the fucking key. But let's make sure he's guilty of it. Because you can't...
to the full extent. Let's make sure it's that extent.
I don't sit around and go, oh, there's a lawsuit? Yeah, he's guilty of it. I mean,
or that he's innocent.
The Trevor Bauer situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, is Trevor Bauer going to pitch in Major League Baseball? Look, if you don't know about the Trevor Bauer situation, look it up. But long story short, this girl accused him of something horrible, and it turns out that she made the whole fucking thing up, and she got caught.
He was already unlikable though at that point. They already didn't like him, so that's always part of the situation.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, he's not likable. So.
But I still thought at the time,
picture.
It's like, well, let's
Great
see what
picture,
happens
though.
here. I thought the same thing. Let's see If you want to ruin someone's career, let's make sure we get it right.
Yeah. And
If you want to cancel someone,
let's just make sure it's right. Like
let's make sure it's actually cancelable.
Yeah.
Now,
we got all the time in the world.
We did the whole Vince
too.
McMahon thing. We don't need to get back in it. There's a whole episode. Go back and watch it. We break it down a little bit better there. We're a little all over the place right now, but we're trying to link it to the Brock Lesnar stuff where it's like Paul Heyman's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. You would think that the one guy that would induct him, that would like give the introduce him, is Brock Lesnar. I don't think they're going to have Roman Reigns do it. Because he's too involved in the storyline of the main event on both nights.
That's a great point, too.
You can't
then
have him like be Mr. Nice Guy the night before.
Yeah.
You just can't.
No, not him. No.
I don't even know if he's there.
Yeah.
Don't tell me there's no like kayfabe involved in that. Last year they had Dominic Mysterio and Mommy walk off the set while his father was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was great.
Good, yeah.
And I'm sure his father loved it.
Yeah.
Probably made it that much better to his dad.
Yeah. It really did, yeah.
But I think that's a Triple H thing. Like they're connecting the storyline with the Hall of Fame. And Roman's too involved in the main event storyline.
And they also, as much as I like Roman, respect Roman, I don't think he's the guy. I just think it's Brock Lesnar. It's Brock Lesnar or almost no one.
Who else would it be?
Well, Roman...
CM Punk?
Yeah, CM Punk. Yeah. Not as good, but yeah.
It still wasn't long enough for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't long enough for me.
That might be what you have to do, though. That might be the safest play.
Punk?
It's still good enough. It's not...
he can talk.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be Brock. It's the elephant in the room. And, like, how do you want to address the elephant in the room? I'm just telling you, there's a reason why Brock was...
But if you don't have Brock, then there's less articles written about the Vince McMahon situation around WrestleMania. Do they want it to be quiet around WrestleMania? Because then you just go at CM Punk send him out in his sling and let him talk big, like as he's talented.
I think there's talk either way.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're getting in, TKO's getting in a room.
Yeah.
Triple H is in a room with Paul Heyman. There's no doubt him and Paul Heyman sat down and talked about this. It's like, what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And Paul Heyman's probably like, Brock would be the guy if we don't have Brock involved. But again, let's step into the real world. The real world is these are allegations. It's easy to get rid of Vince McMahon. He sold the company, right?
Yep. All his stock, everything.
So the text messages alone, just go away. We're not necessarily, and we're not going to bring you back. And they said it publicly in that media call. They said we don't talk to him. He's done. He's not coming back ever.
Yeah.
I still don't know that that's them going, he's guilty. I think they're just saying there's too much noise. You had Slim Jim back out of a sponsorship.
Yeah.
That's noise we don't need. Sorry. It's you sold there's more people involved now.
Yeah.
Under the old regime, they do the same song and dance where he steps away for a little bit and comes back. When everything calms down. The world moves on to another thing, right? What's over here? They got you, they're pulling you every direction these days.
And if I'm being honest, this story has moved on a bit too. It doesn't feel as in your face and big as it did in that second. It's gone real quiet.
And why do you think that is?
One reason I think wrestling's so good right now, honestly. People are they're not looking for this horrible thing. They're just happy with that wrestling's rolling on right now. I think there's an element of that. It's just so good.
Yeah, human nature is we always move on to the next. There's always just so much chaos that when we do get infuriated with something,
there's another one.
There's usually something else a couple weeks away, right?
And I also think the people who are actually really infuriated initially about these things, they like to be infuriated about things.
Of course.
It's more of a recreational infuriation.
Most of the people, and this is kind of what I was going to get to, and I was like, why do you think it went away? I think most of the people who are like not wanting to like see that play out with that lawsuit are people that doesn't matter who was accusing fans, so what Vince was being accused of, they wanted to put him in jail anyways.
Yeah.
No matter what. They'll believe any lawsuit. Paul, I could sue you tomorrow for looking at me the wrong way on this show.
Yeah.
I could sue you tomorrow. And I could find a lawyer, pay him enough.
You definitely could.
For him to prove that. Or try to. And you could sit here and go, but we've been doing a show together. He's fucking, like, he's wanting to do the show with me. Of course he's looking at me funny. That's what Danny does. He yells, he screams, he fucking looks at me. But you get what I'm saying.
No, yeah, you can make a case out of anything. You can bring it to court at least. It might not.
But there's people that would see any lawsuit thrown Vince's way and they want to throw him in jail. I think those people become exhausting. We're also at a part of life right now where there's so much drama in the world and there's so many exhausting people that
the drama gives them power. They're just boring people if they don't have it.
No, but it's starting to turn. Like I've felt the turn here for a couple years where it's like all the craziness and all the yelling and screaming. There's a lot of normal people that just like don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah, more and more. That's
from each
true.
side.
Yeah,
like the people like us were in the middle where like the left is yelling about something, like in the middle. Sorry, the right is yelling about something. We're like, sorry.
The middle's getting bigger by the day. It's like
my point.
Yeah.
So all these people, like the reason the stuff's gone away on the Vince McMahon stuff is because I think we realize, like, let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
The people that are yelling and screaming about it and want to fucking like erase the WWE.
Yeah.
Those are people that wanted to erase the WWE anyways.
Specifically Vince McMahon.
And
too.
like, it's going away. Brock is probably fighting it legally behind the scenes in some way, shape, or form. He's probably, I don't know. Does Brock have something on somebody? Maybe.
If anyone does, he does. He's been around forever.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to do this Hall of Fame, I mean, they could have very easily not put Paul Heyman in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, you could do it next year. See, that's the one thing I wondered about too.
You do it next year.
Yeah. Easily do it next year too.
And so
unless Paul Heyman's out for some reason, he has a day where he's retiring, which I don't believe. But
ultimately, and we this was a long way to. We went around the block a couple times to get to the main point, but I did already say it. It's that I think Brock Lesnar I think we're going to see him again. Yeah. And the reason I think we're going to see him again is because that was a lawsuit. He was accused of something. We don't know how he's fighting back. And that's why I was like, before we like let us play as Brock in the video game. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you want to burn it down? Let's make sure we get it right. Same thing with Vince. If he's guilty of that stuff and that lawsuit,
yeah, it's over.
Put him in jail and throw away the key. But let's make sure he is guilty of it. Like, is that to think that that's that crazy of a thought? Yeah. Is why the world is a shit show right now.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's not that crazy of a thought. Let's make sure we get it right before we burn it down. And with Brock, I think it's probably like, maybe he's got some proof somewhere that his involvement wasn't exactly what that lawsuit made it out to be. And if you're the WWE, you also don't want, like, you're trying to dance around some stuff with that right now, especially in WrestleMania. I get what you're saying. If you bring them out, are you like...
Yeah, are you reigniting it? Because it feels like it has kind of gone a bit away, at least.
But I also think that if you don't bring them out...
Then you almost never can, right? If you don't bring them out right now and you do Heyman's... Can you never bring him out? I don't know.
No, I just think that people are going to talk about how he's missing from it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a topic. But also, if he's fighting things behind the scenes, if you're WWE or TKO, you're probably like, if this is getting out anyways, like if this is like going to be a thing at some point with Brock anyways, let's not have it in the courtroom with Brock, where it's going to get really sticky.
Yeah.
Let's have him back. Let's just have him back.
Yeah. And then we have to change it down the road. We change it down the road.
Yeah.
That might be the way to do it.
I don't know, though. I mean, I just think there's something to either...
The conversation...
Putting him on the roster on the website.
Yeah.
Whether they kept him on there or put him back, he's still on there.
Yeah.
So, They're usually pretty good at like removing that stuff. I mean, they're talking about removing the title, right? Like getting rid of the title.
Yeah.
That the Vince McMahon family crest, and they probably will get rid of that. But again, it's easier to remove yourself from Vince because he sold the company, and that lawsuit's about Vince. Just Brock kind of got caught up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But Brock, like we said, might have some evidence to show that maybe, he really wasn't in the middle of it. That was his boss. He sent some stupid texts.
Yes.
We've all sent some stupid texts. And maybe it's WWE's like, it's not worth getting in a legal battle with Brock Lesnar right now.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe he didn't.
Clear
Maybe
cut.
he didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
And then if he didn't do anything wrong, and he's like, you can't fucking get.
Now
it's a breach
real
of
lawsuit.
contract.
Yeah.
Let me back in. Then maybe this is how they do it. They have him do the Paul Heyman speech. People see a side of Brock that maybe they don't ever see. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the best way to... Because think about it. That would be a good... Put away the noise that it would create for a minute. If you're going to bring Brock Lesnar back, are you going to bring him back like this animal, the beast incarnate? Or are you going to bring him back as like nice guy Brock, like...
Clean cut. Not clean cut, but like...
Giving a nice speech.
Very presented correctly.
Oh, you're bringing him back like, here's Brock. He's beating the shit out of everybody. Crazy man. Like, I don't know that that's the first way you want to reintroduce yourself.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
Reintroduce him to the world. Oh, man. I don't know.
What a world.
What a world. What do we got to do here? We got time? Shohei Ohtani, Mac Jones, real quick. You want to just like attack it and maybe we cut some clips up from that?
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani, $4.5 million. $4.5 million from his bank account to a bookmaker in California, I think.
I think so.
I think in California. Yeah. And he's blaming it on his interpreter. I saw a funny meme. I wish I sent it to you. We could have pulled it up. It was Pete Rose with like his hand on his head. And it was like that moment when you realize you should have blamed it on your interpreter. And like, because Pete Rose has been like,
that's the face of gambling on your sport.
The face of gambling on professional sports, specifically the sport that you play and managed and were part of and was a legend in. Pete Rose is the ultimate example of here's why you don't do that.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani was like, I don't give a fuck.
Who's Pete Rose?
And he's going to blame it on his interpreter. Now, some people are going to see this and maybe even jump in the comments and be like, you just did a whole segment about Vince McMahon, innocent until proven guilty, and you're going to blame this on Shohei Ohtani? Well, yeah, because...
His bank records.
I mean, money, $4.5 million went from his bank account to someone else. 1. 2, the original story that they gave was that the interpreter got in a tough time and Shohei Ohtani knew about it with the book about the gambling, and Shohei Ohtani gave him the money to help out a friend.
He's a good guy.
Great guy, that Shohei Ohtani. And they quickly changed the story. Now they're like, Shohei Ohtani didn't know anything. Shohei Ohtani can't believe that this guy took $4.5 million from his bank account to this bookmaker in California. Shohei Ohtani can't believe that this guy lost $4.5 million in bets and stole his money to do it.
His friend, his interpreter, his friend.
The one guy he had in the U.S. as the face of baseball. Give me a fucking break. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani was betting. Now, I don't know for sure that they know it was on baseball.
Yeah, I don't think.
Or do they?
No, I don't. No, at least I don't think they said that.
The story that the interpreter's giving is that it was on pro sports, but it wasn't on baseball. But again, they already changed this story multiple times. Here's what I'll tell you. Shohei Ohtani did not have $4.5 million stolen from him.
Yeah.
If he did, the first time you would have heard about it is Shohei Ohtani hires someone to go after somebody who stole $4.5 million from him. That would have been the first story. That wasn't the first story. So, like, he got caught. All right. Then he had a terrible story. And what I think probably happened when he was like, oh, yeah, I helped this guy out with the 4.5. He had gambling debts, so I gave him $4.5 million. And I sent it right to I didn't give it to the guy. I gave it to the bookmaker. I think they probably stepped in and said, well, if you use that story, the feds are going to get involved.
Yeah.
And that's not going to look good for you. Because it's illegal.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? They changed the story.
He's a fall guy. That's all it is.
Shohei Ohtani was gambling. Now, was he gambling on, did he throw games? Did he gamble on? I don't know. That's stuff that I don't know.
And that's to come. Like that.
But we're going to find out.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see.
Especially because he's the face. He's almost the face of the league. He really is. People love him. People really love him.
I mean, he's the one. Like, baseball is kind of.
Baseball needs him.
Baseball needs Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
But they got to be very careful here. Because if it turns out like he was, even if he was betting on his team to win,
still a problem.
There's a standard. And we mentioned it off the top of this segment. The standard is Pete Rose with that meme and him with his hand in his head where it says, all I had to do, the moment I realized all I had to do was blame it on my interpreter. There's a standard, and the standard is Pete Rose. And that standard says that if you gamble on baseball, no matter what, whether you gamble on your own team, whether you gamble on your own batting average or your own fucking stolen bases, it don't matter. You are shunned from the Hall of Fame.
For life.
For life. And, like, the thing about Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame is, even if you're Major League Baseball and you said, well, we're gonna turn a blind eye to Shohei Ohtani, and you know what our next move is, and it probably should have been our first move is, we're going to put Pete Rose on the Hall of Fame ballot. You know what happened? He wouldn't get in the Hall of Fame.
No, they would just keep him out.
The fucking losers that vote
exactly
for baseball that make it about themselves, they are not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. There's fucking losers.
Nerds.
So, just the biggest bunch of fucking bozos you ever seen in your life. They just met, not all of them, fucking most of them. And the ones that I say aren't bozos, they know, like, they're with me and you. Like, they know. Like, they're grouped together with a bunch of fucking bozos that make it about themselves. Fuck you. Like, put Roger Clemens in the fucking Hall of Fame for Major League Baseball.
What are we doing?
For baseball.
Yeah.
And I know I said Major League Baseball, but it's Baseball America, or whatever the fuck it is. Barry Bonds? Alex Rodriguez? You mean to tell me you're going to have a Hall of Fame and you're not going to have Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, and Alex Rodriguez anywhere near your Hall of Fame? You're a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's not a Hall of Fame. Yeah.
And I love David Ortiz. And he got in right away, as he should have. Nobody's a bigger Poppy fan than me. Okay? But let's be honest. He was accused of PED use.
That's the difference. That's where they live, though, that he was accused.
No. This is where they live. This is where the baseball writers live. It's their world. It's about them. And any other opinion that anyone has outside of the game,
they don't
please.
get baseball.
No, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't get it. Yeah. We're better than you. Fuck off.
It's about the history of the game.
The history of the game is Roger Clemens was a Hall of Famer before he was accused of taking steroids, which again, you can't even really prove. Yeah. Brian McAfee? Okay. Brian McAfee's story in court was wrong. It was wrong. His timeline of events was wrong. He fucked up. Yeah. And the lawyers were like shuffling papers when they didn't know what to do. People want to ignore that part of it. And I think it might have just been the defamation lawsuit. But that is true that Brian McAfee, like when he said he injected Roger Clemens for the first time with steroids.
Yeah.
It was a year after. So they said to him, well, that's a year after he got to Toronto and won the Cy Young. So what happened in the year that he won the Cy Young that you didn't give him steroids? Because the whole argument with Clemens is that he needed to take steroids because he was in, as Dan Duquette called it, the twilight of his career at the end of his Red Sox tenure. But he went to Toronto and he won a Cy Young. McNamee's timeline, the guy who injected him with steroids for the first time, is that he didn't start giving Clemens steroids until the year after he won the Cy Young in Toronto. But the basis of their argument that Clemens took steroids was he needed it to save his career because his career was going downhill. But when they got in court, they said, well, wait a minute. That's the basis of your argument. How do you explain the Cy Young that he won when he went to Toronto the year before he met McNamee? Or the year before McNamee tells us that's when he first injected him. How do you explain that? Well, they're fucking shuffling their pay. They didn't know what the fuck to say. So even the proof that they think they have on Clemens, look, we all know. I'm not an idiot. I wasn't born yesterday. I get it.
They
These
all
guys
used
probably
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
tons of it then.
But like, I'm just trying to tell you, the things that we think are like a proven
Concrete, yeah.
are not. And if there's questions about anyone, then you just got to let them in. Like, anyone and everyone, you let them in. Like, these guys, it's so funny. Like, I always bring up the Frank Thomas thing. Because a lot of the stuff we use the eye test. Like, oh, this guy's on the juice.
Yeah.
Go look at Frank Thomas's first year in Major League Baseball. There's like a hilarious picture then of him like 3 years later. Like, his arm
Triple.
is like...
Yeah.
It's the funniest picture I've ever seen. It's like photoshopped. And then you look at his first year, and he gets in first ballot Hall of Fame. Oh, no one's ever linked him to steroids.
No accusations.
Can you fucking see? Are you looking at the same guy?
The eye test goes far for everything. It really does.
What are we doing? But then they'll use the eye test with other guys, but they won't use it for some.
Yeah. And then it makes you wonder, like, was he just good? He was in good with all the writers. Is that what we're doing now? Because that's what Mac Jones always felt like. Are they just in good with the writers? That's what's really going on?
I don't like Mac Jones, but I don't want to mix him in with this conversation. That's unfair to him. I just think that
he should have been on the juice. Mac Jones should have.
The Hall of Fame thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on the Hall of Fame rant, but it is very clear and evident that they just suck. Okay? They suck. Because you're telling me, you're lying to the people that watch the game. Roger Clemens isn't a Hall of Famer? Fuck off. Barry Bonds isn't in your Hall of Fame? Go fuck yourself. Alex Rodriguez, arguably the greatest player to ever play the game?
Yeah.
Oh, you got caught popping gummies in the clubhouse. Yeah, but do you realize that he never failed the fucking test? What does that tell you? He got caught because he was in a ring of steroids.
He was on a piece of paper.
Belko.
That's how he got caught.
Belko. And remember you had the 60 Minutes piece with Tony. What was the guy's name from Belko? Tony. It was Tony something. Tony something. He's like, the reporter's like, but how could you do it, Tony? Like, the integrity of the game.
The sanctity.
It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
You had a dead ball era. Why can't you have a steroid era? What the
so
hell?
So you
What's
think that these are the four guys that were doing it?
Yeah.
That's it?
They were all using. Everyone, I think. Different degrees,
and
obviously.
There were so many guys that were huge that sucked.
It became huge overnight.
Yeah.
And that's what stinks about Bonds, because Bonds was great. Bonds never needed it. Like guys like Home Run King Sammy Sosa, those are the guys who needed it. Those are the guys created.
Like, to me, Maguire is not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, he's created from steroids. And and again, the eye test. It's obvious. It's just obvious.
But it's obvious that Clemens had like 10 good, great Hall of Fame years.
One of the greatest
before he was linked to steroids.
Yeah.
Same thing with Barry Bonds. Alex Rodriguez, I mean, there were a couple moments with him where he got caught. But correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments on YouTube. He never failed a test. So we could talk all about he got caught, in this steroid ring, and he was definitely juicing. He was popping gummies in the clubhouse. Remember that?
Yeah.
But guess what? He was passing the same test as everybody else. So what does it tell you?
The test is nonsense.
So what does that tell you? Yeah. So when there's somebody that's screaming and shouting about, oh, Alex Rodriguez. It's like, dude, how do I know you? Like, you're being a little too loud right now. What's the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote? The louder they spoke of their honor, the faster we counted our spoons. That's a good one, right?
That is a good one.
The louder that I used to see, like, Major League Baseball players speak up attacking these steroid guys, I would go, interesting. Go get them, huh? You realize that they're passing the same test as you. And you realize that when I look at your stats, you had a interesting increase in strikeouts. An interesting decrease in ERA.
You seemed like you didn't get hurt for a couple of years.
It's just, I get so pissed off about the Hall of Fame stuff. Because I'm like, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
I used to be your P1. I'm not the baseball P1 anymore. I'm not. Are you?
No. I probably never was, but no, definitely not now. I'm further down.
I mean, I think that with the Red Sox, I'm in a spot right now with the Red Sox where they were putting images up on Instagram of players walking into spring training. And it was like a slide of 6 people. And I go, I don't know one fucking guy that's walking in right now.
Do you remember how
they were in street clothes, sunglasses?
Yeah, I saw the picture,
and I'm
too.
like,
I didn't know who they were either.
Like, who are these guys? Walking into the Fort Myers right now? And I've never felt like that.
Do you remember how fun truck day was back in the day?
Please, no, it wasn't.
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah. I'm like gearing up. It's starting the season.
We're going to cut that out for him.
No,
we're going to do
I like it. I don't care. I'll stay with it because we're starting the season. It's just fun at that point. I even like the spring training game.
Oh, I like spring training.
I like all that.
I like spring training. I think the thing about baseball spring training to me is
I used to like all that. I'm saying that.
When we used to get hit with snow.
Yeah.
Right? When it used to snow here in New England. I used to love sitting down, like watching a spring training game in March because I'm like, it made me feel like we were closer to the winter finish.
See, that's what it's just the start of everything.
I would order a buffalo chicken sub from Broadway's Best. I'd sit there and I would watch a fucking game at 1 in the afternoon
like,
on
grass.
a weekday. You could smell the grass in spring training through your TV, right?
Yeah.
You can hear the sound of people scraping car windshields outside. My mouth's burning from my Broadway Best buffalo chicken sub, and I'm smelling the grass on the TV from spring training. I don't smell that grass anymore, Paul.
No, I don't even want to.
That buffalo chicken sub doesn't burn the way it used to be. I don't hear any scraping outside. It's not snowing anymore. And when I'm looking at Instagram pictures of the Red Sox walking into Fort Myers, I'm looking at that slide going, I don't know anybody on this screen. I don't know anybody on this team. I say that in jest. I do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make you confident that they're going to do anything. But I've reached a point with this Red Sox team where I'm hearing all the nonsense and all the bad mouthing and all the shit talking. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, maybe Kenley Jansen isn't going to demand a trade. And maybe the Red Sox will have a dominant back end of the bullpen. Maybe Trevor Story is going to be healthy and recapture what he was giving you at Coors Field with the Rockies. Maybe that Colorado air wasn't a fluke for him. Maybe Rafael Devers is going to continue to prove that he's one of the best young players in the game. Maybe Brian Bayo is going to be an absolute stud, and this is his breakout year. And
There's a lot of maybes.
A lot of maybes, but maybe someone like Bayo can come out and have that breakout moment, and he can show you signs that maybe he is. All right, he's not Pedro Martinez, but maybe Brian Bayo is going to be your stud for the future, that you just locked up to a nice contract. That's very affordable. He's going to be your opening day starter. Maybe someone like Bayo is going to step up and have that breakout season. Maybe, just maybe, your 2024 Boston Red Sox are going to go out and prove a lot of people wrong. I'm looking at this Red Sox team from afar. I've heard all the nonsense. I've even bought into the nonsense. I've even bought into the criticism. I've criticized the Red Sox myself as much as I've ever criticized the Red Sox this offseason. And it's justified. It's that criticism that the Red Sox have received from everyone else and myself, that's justified. But I'm looking at this thing, I'm putting it all together, and I'm starting to get pissed off at the criticism. I'm starting to get pissed off that I'm not that excited about baseball, and then I'm starting to think a little bit more optimistic. I'm starting to think, Paul, I'm ready to shock the world. I just want to know if the Red Sox are too. That's where I'm at. Because that's a heck of a story. You put this team out there and
do something.
You win the division and you get into the playoffs.
That's all you got to do too. That's exactly all. That's all. People only want just a little bit of hope. That's all. That's exactly all you need.
I'm ready to shock the world. I just wonder if the Red Sox are too. That's it. That's my baseball thought. And I know we went from Shohei Ohtani to that, but we don't know what Shohei Ohtani was doing, so I guess we can only talk so much about it. I just think that Major League Baseball's in a weird spot because the standard is Pete Rose. Yeah. That's the fucking standard. You said it. And even if you try to unset it, the baseball writers ain't putting him in. The baseball writers are going to ruin that for you. Yep. So what are you going to do? Because I got news for you. Shohei Ohtani was betting. That was his money. Those were his bets. Okay? Don't be an idiot. Those were his money. That was his money, and those were his bets. Was he betting on the Angels when he was with them?
What if he's betting on like a crazy sport? Not even like a professional.
Cricket?
Yeah, like something like that.
Nah.
What if they can show that though?
Like live Russian table tennis?
Yeah, I think it goes away if you can show that. If he's just got some weird addiction to gambling.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he was gambling on.
Don't you have to almost claim like I'm an addict. I'm a victim. But he help me.
No, he did claim he's a victim. He claimed he's a victim of theft.
No, I know, but now he has to evolve his story again.
Yeah, that's where it goes. That's why if he changes his story again,
I think you just I got problems.
The average sports better. No, the average human knows that Shohei Ohtani was gambling. That was his money. And I think the average person realizes that if that is true, which it is, he was probably gambling on baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. More than likely.
That much money? That much money? Like, I could see if you put in some bets, dude. 4.5 mil? And is it even more than that? Like, that's just one thing that they have.
That's just one betting place that he gave the money to.
Where else is it going to?
And as soon as you open up your books, they're going to see exactly where it was going.
So Major League Baseball can sweep this under the rug.
He was on the cover of not their last game, 2 games ago, of MLB, I think 2022.
Yeah, dude, he was with
their face.
The story was out there, and he was in the dugout with his interpreter. Like, laughing with him. Like, come on now. I just don't know what they're going to do.
Good luck. I like him, so good luck.
What are you going to do? What are you going to... I don't envy their position, but, I mean, the standard was set.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be a lot of people
the standard is set. He's done.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
He's done. If we are abiding by the standard that you set...
That you never walked back from even one.
This isn't racist.
Bit. Yep.
This is the standard. He's done.
Yeah. And what does that do for the entire league? That's wild. That's a wild thing that could happen.
So what do you do? Do you just legalize it? Like, do you just say, okay, you can do it?
But it still doesn't. Does that still get him out of it?
I mean, I just think of baseball. Like, how do you jump the shark here? Like, is there a way you can take this and go, guys, he's not the only one.
Yeah, but they didn't use that with steroids. They're never gonna. That's too big of an admission for them. They'll never do that.
It's too big of a loss though for the sport.
Yeah.
But if you have to play by the standard that you set, unless you come out first and go, you know what, but you can't even do that with Pete Rose because then you're admitting like
it's too late now. You could have done that before. But
he's got a. I mean, I think it's probably a year-long suspension.
it should be more, honestly. If it is
I
what
mean, if it's the Pete
if
Rose
exactly like,
rule,
yeah,
then he's done. Then
go away.
he goes back to Japan
Yeah,
and plays.
that would be such a shame. But that
Can you afford to do that as a business? That's the thing. Like, this is a
They
business
cannot.
too.
I don't think
they
they
can't
can.
afford to do that. So how do you handle it? I think, do you try to spin this now in a way where it's like, we got to keep Shohei Ohtani? That's just business. That would just be the wise business move. Do we try to like understand that all these players are gambling with so much access to sports betting and try to jump the shark? Let's fucking legalize it and let's limit it and let's keep track of it.
Yeah,
let's let the
make
fans.
it public.
But you can only bet on your own team. And let's let the fans know how much Shohei Ohtani bet on the Dodgers tonight. I don't know. That's not going to happen. But wouldn't that be something?
That'd be
It's just
fun.
it's you got to acknowledge the gambling climate that we are now in,
Yeah,
which is,
but you got to keep it out.
put it this way, I don't care about March Madness because it's nothing to me anymore.
Yeah,
Like sports betting brackets, why would I bet a bracket when I could just take one game and on the app on my phone and bet the game?
yeah.
What am I doing a bracket for? I don't give a fuck about the bracket anymore. That used to be fun gambling. Oh, a bracket pool? Yeah, it's not as fun when I can now bet on like a Russian table tennis game live.
It's like Shohei.
Like Shohei. Right? Like what's the fun in a March Madness bracket? So we're now numb to sports betting. But like it's everywhere. It's in our face.
Yeah. But that almost makes me think they'll come down harder on him because they have to set a real precedent. Before, when Pete Rose, they had to set a precedent. It was all illegal gambling. Now this is right in your face. Your sponsors even. So you have to maintain the integrity of the game. I know I was shitting on that for a previous thing, but like this is real. Because then now people are going to say, "Is this professional wrestling?" You open the door.
I know, but you have.
You have to if
you have to acknowledge like the reality of the world that we live in.
Yeah.
I mean, on ESPN, like, here's how I know we're kind of acknowledging it just as humans.
It's everywhere.
ESPN this morning, 9 o'clock Sports Center. I'm gonna let you take a guess. At what time during the 9 o'clock Sports Center do you think they did the Shohei Ohtani stuff today?
I don't know.
Saturday morning Sports Center, like.
It should have been first, but I'm gonna guess
it wasn't.
I'm gonna guess they buried that one.
Guess what time? Can you guess the time? Because I looked at my microwave. I go
like the midway point, I think, because I think most people kind of go off.
9:26.
Okay, yeah.
Are you
right
shitting
there.
me?
I would think that. Yeah.
So you got the biggest name.
That's the
in
perfect place to
baseball. $4.5 million of gambling debt, potentially on his own fucking sport.
Yeah.
You have Sports Center at 9 o'clock, and you don't get to the story till 9:26. That's how I know we've accepted sports betting.
Yeah, that's the
So if
perfect
we're
place to bury
accepting
it.
sports betting as humans way more than we are before, well, it's time to change.
Yeah.
So you put it. But my point is, like, you either change. You Pete Rose is back.
Yeah. It's all or nothing, right?
Don't even let the sports writers know. You put Pete Rose right into the Hall of Fame
immediately.
because the sports writers are not putting him in, like we mentioned.
Or you pressure them. I think that.
No, you don't. They're not gonna. They don't. They're on another planet. Pressure. You put him right in the Hall of Fame, and you say, "Shohei, he fucked up. There's a fucked up situation, but let's face the facts. This whole thing is sponsored by a sportsbook app.
Yeah.
Like, this whole world right now is sponsored by a sportsbook app. And maybe instead of just doing those things and letting it happen, we embrace it and we promote it. Like, do you get where I'm going with this? Like,
I do. It just.
and I don't know that it's going to happen. I'm just trying to think outside the box, like how you could possibly not just fix this situation without losing your best star, do what's best for business and keeping him around. But also, like, you don't just say face. You're saying to yourself, we're acknowledging the current state of humans, which is that sports betting is the thing that everybody's doing. Anybody who has a phone can put money on anything. You could put money on a game. You could put money on in-game stat. Like the things that you could put money on.
Parlays are crazy.
Like you could put money on something in a live sport that you're unable to watch. Like there's no way for you to watch this table tennis game. There's no way. But you have a phone, you could put money on it. And you could put a lot of money on it. How much money do you have?
$4.5 million.
You could put money on it. You could put that on this game that you can't watch if you tried. Could have every internet signal, and it doesn't matter, dude. There's a game in a basement somewhere in Europe
And someone's willing to take a
that
bet.
you can bet on this device that has taken over our lives. So can we just... What if we promoted it? What if we let them bet on their own teams? We gave them a limit. And
Yeah.
we
The limit
tweeted
thing
it
might
out.
work. That's the only way it works.
We tweeted it out. Hey,
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani, he bet on the Dodgers tonight. He bet $5,000 that he was going to win this game tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know you can't do it, right?
It just opens too much up. It just opens.
But it's also a way, if you're acknowledging that everyone's doing it, it opens a way for you to be able to track the people that might be doing it the wrong way.
And it's another way to make a lot of money.
What is
too.
the wrong way?
Yeah.
The wrong way is betting on the other team that you're playing against. The wrong way is Shohei Ohtani has a game tonight that he's on the mound. That's weird. He just let up 8 runs tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was he doing? You'd be able to then track it. He would be unable to do that, at least through this
But the
system.
other side,
You'll find a way, another way, if you really wanted to.
yeah, because the other side is like he's just saying, never take me out. Keep me in this game. I'm gonna win this game. Like it's like it just changes it. It changes everything too much.
Oh, it's such a it's
He fucked up. He screwed everything up. That's the reality. He put them in a bad situation.
I don't know how it gets better. If we want to simplify this, like take a step out of the ridiculous world that I just try to bring you into of things you could do. There's a standard.
Yep.
And what does that standard say? That standard says that Shohei Ohtani is
Dunzo.
done forever. And he's got to go back to Japan.
Rip the contract up, everything.
That's the standard.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that wrong, right? Like that's what you're banished from baseball. You cannot be part of this sport. Sorry. You are bad.
Yeah.
So bad that we cannot acknowledge you in our Hall of Fame. So, that's that. I guess we said we were going to talk about Mac Jones, but this has been a long show, right? Yeah. What are we on now?
Maybe an hour 50.
Hour 50? We're going to go 2 hours? Should we hit the 2 hour mark?
Yeah, let's do a Mac Jones quick thing.
A Mac Jones quick blurb.
It was inevitable, but it's just, it almost feels kind of hollow. Like they just let him out with a whimper without the acknowledgement that he was the problem here the entire time. One of the major problems here.
Here's what I'll say about Mac Jones is that we've already knocked all the stuff that he did with the Patriots. He was soft.
Can't throw a ball.
Mentally soft. Was not a Bill Belichick guy because of that. Then that softness played into like him being a prima donna and like going behind Belichick's back. He wasn't a Belichick guy. Me and you have been saying that for 2 years. The media still doesn't want to admit to that, and they still blame Belichick for ruining him. But I always go back to, well, at some point, you got to stop being a pussy and go out and do something that is productive to your team as an NFL starting quarterback that was drafted in the first fucking round. Yeah. And he was unable to do that. So I don't care about all the noise and all the bad situations you think he was put in. If you're a first-round draft pick, go out and do something.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it. And he was soft, and I'm so glad he's gone. But we've already said that. He has this, like, press conference with the Jaguars, and I watched it.
It was bizarre.
And I'm like, wow, you seem really happy to be traded to a situation in which you have a quarterback on your roster who's was the number 1 overall pick in your draft while you were 15, and they're already, Jacksonville's talking about an extension with Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor Lawrence is their guy.
Yeah. And it's obvious he's there.
And he's going to continue to be their guy. I've never seen somebody so happy to become a backup quarterback. He wants to, change, he wants to, change things up in his career and have a fresh new start. And what do you mean? You're going to a place where you're a backup. That press conference showed me Patriots made the right call. If I was Mac Jones, I'd be bullshit at the way this whole thing has gone.
It makes him look
publicly bullshit, privately bullshit. I mean, we heard reports of the players maybe they had enough of Mac Jones's bullshit. There was a video that leaked recently where the team was out, the Patriots were out to dinner, and there was a player. Who was it? Did you see this video?
I think I just read about it. Yeah,
they were out to dinner. Was it? I forget who. It was one of the wide receivers. I forget whose birthday it was or something. Oh no, they were. Was it a contract? Something. The team was out to dinner. Bailey Zappi stood up to give a speech. Now I don't think Bailey Zappi's the guy, and I hope he isn't.
No,
they're gonna have to draft someone now because Cousins went to Atlanta. I don't think Tom Brady will come back. Even I wish he did for a year.
Please, Tom.
Please, Tom, come back. Just one, maybe 2. That's not going to happen. That's unrealistic. So you got to draft someone. I'm hoping it's Jaden Daniels. But Bailey Zappi stands up, and the players start chanting QB1. They start yelling, QB1. Like, if you just traded away a guy that you loved and you wish didn't get traded, you're not sitting there at that dinner with the team going, when Bailey Zappi stands up going, QB1.
And like everything, that video leaked out because they wanted that video out.
Yeah.
Bailey
Zappi's agent probably put that out there. I mean, it's just Mac Jones at a press conference, he looked a little too happy to become a backup quarterback for the rest of his life. And if I was Mac Jones, so young in my career, having so much talent, being a first-round pick, thinking that everything went wrong for me in an organization, I'd be pissed. And I'd be pissed that I just got traded to Jacksonville, even though it is his hometown. And he's like, oh, my mother's picking me up after this. It's like, dude. Patriots, you fired Bill Belichick over this? Like, Robert Kraft, you fired Bill Belichick over that kid? Are you fucking kidding me?
It makes me kind of get a little conspiratorial, where they say they let him hang around for that long just to really turn everybody on Belichick, because it flipped a lot of people.
We talked about the Patriots dynasty, the dynasty on Apple TV Plus last week. And it turns out it was exactly what we said, a hit piece on Belichick. Even some of the players have spoken out since we did the last show. And they were like, oh, we felt like kind of got blindsided. Like, they didn't say all the stuff, the positives. They didn't say any of the positive stuff that we talked about. They only put the negative stuff out there. Patriots players are speaking out, being frustrated with that documentary. And we said that last show. It looks like a hit piece on Belichick. It is. Players are upset about it. And you got rid of him, and it's like, well, you had to trade Mac Jones. But I don't want to sit here and complain too much because I'm glad they got rid of him. It's just,
it's too late.
It confirms to me that this was the right move by watching his press conference.
Yeah.
Him being a little too happy to be a backup quarterback. It's like, dude, this isn't a, like, you should, there's not a press conference. I don't even think there should have been a press conference. If I'm Mac Jones.
Yeah, why is a backup?
If I'm Mac Jones and I go to Jacksonville and the media relations comes up to me and they go, hey, we're thinking a press conference. I'd look at them and go, no.
Maybe you could do a little dance.
You want to do a conference call? Like, do you want, like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, we'll do it over the phone. Like, the media needs... I'd just be like, no. I'm working out.
I got a lot of work to do. I'm a backup.
Like, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, this is a horrible spot for me. It's a horrible spot for him if he wants to be a starting quarterback.
Brutal.
But great for the Patriots. He's gone. We can exhale. We can move on. Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Drake May? We're going to find out.
So now it's getting fun again.
Here we go. We're going to find out. So that's our football talk, our Patriots talk, maybe and possibly our final Mac Jones segment on this show. We are done with him forever, we think, unless he takes over the job and beats the Patriots in the AFC Championship in 5 years.
I'd like that too, though. Honestly, I'd like that.
No, I wouldn't. Too. I'd be so pissed. I'd be so fucking pissed. All right, next week, special guest in studio. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media. Paul, great job as always. We're out. Talk to you again soon.